Hello everyone, I'm DonTheCrown, and it's been kind of an interesting 24 hours for the build and just generally for the game. If you watched this video here where we talk about ultimate crafting and just crafting in general with my new spreadsheet that I put out, you kind of might have known that I was going to craft myself a new weapon here. And I made a priceless weapon, and I honestly made quite a few mistakes with this. One, I bought the wrong base dagger. One thing is really important to do, and they actually changed this season, which kind of messed me up a little bit, is that you always want to check to make sure that you're getting the top item base. And you can tell which one's the best based off the physical damage here. And for the longest time, it was always the number 2 that was the highest base as opposed to this. But I guess they fixed this and didn't put it in the patch notes this season, and I just was not paying attention. And so I purchased one of these down here. So you always want to make sure that you purchase the top one when you're going for priceless. I really don't know why we have priceless gear that can be a worse base. Doesn't seem very priceless to me. But yeah, so I crafted this. We got really lucky on our very first sequence. This is a pretty good option, not necessarily amazing. And overall, this weapon is pretty mid in terms of all the rolls, in terms of the tiers. Doesn't really seem all that good, and yet it still increased my damage by 60%. So we went from about 10 billion to 16 billion with this not very great weapon. Now crafting this up farther from this point is gonna be pretty difficult, and I might not even follow through with this particular weapon. You might see this up in the auction house maybe sometime tomorrow or something, but this is pretty much like a pretty good idea of what to look for here. Now one thing to note with ultimate affixes is that we have a lot of outs on prefixes and even on suffixes. So on prefixes here we can get armor damage mitigation. Even though we do elemental damage, enemies still take some of that away from their armor. And so armor penetration is really, really good here. And then elemental and erosion resistance penetration is great as well. Attack skill level is also good. And then on suffixes, you could do damage against frozen if you really had to. You could do double damage. Even shadow quant is not very bad either. This does give you more damage because more shadows hitting, although that negative 5% does kind of suck. But that's, you know, kind of an idea here for the weapon. And realistically, I could go and craft another weapon, get some more priceless gear, maybe like do some priceless rings. But I really think that the next step for me and for the build is to kind of move towards mana stacking. And this is something that I know a lot of people have been asking about. When we're going to mana stack, when we're going to mana stack, why are you playing Frost, or why are you playing Ice Spike here or Frost Spike? Like I've seen people like copy paste, why are you playing Frostspike on like every single video, and really I enjoy the clear. I think that the like freeze is pretty great, and I also do think that it's just like just feels good, and it's going to scale really well with mana stacking. There's a couple different ways that this could kind of shake out, but it's going to kind of show you the gear that I've prepped. Oh yeah, the other thing that kind of happened is we had a really big drop, which you might have seen if you were on the stream, but here we go. So the blueprint of eternity here is basically 1/5 of a headhunter from PoE. It's a pretty big drop. It's just pretty fun. I wasn't really expecting this. We were only supposed to get a vault key card there. So yeah, pretty cool. I think that sold for like 3,000 something. I can't remember exactly. Let's just look. Blueprint eternities are currently about 3,700. So that's about what mine sold for. So we got to like get some better gear here. So we're going to need 3 priceless pieces of armor here because we need damage taken from mana before life. And this is not like nearly perfect at all. I don't even know if I want this ultimate affix up here. That's just what I hit on the very first tap. But we need damage taken from mana before life because we're going to try to get up to like 10 or above 1,000 mana like when we first convert over. And that's pretty much going to be our entire life pool. And so we need that to be as big as possible, and we need to convert over. Now, good thing is that from our hero trait here, when we convert over to this, 25% of the damage goes to mana while we're in the realm. So it's 25. And then we're going to also have the mana passive here. I know it's kind of a weird name for mana. It's just called mana. 20% of damage taken from mana before life, 12% additional mana. So that's 45%. We also get this up here. That brings us up to 53%. We could get this on the slate as well, but like 53% plus another 10% right now. We're at 63, plus another 12, 75. I don't know why I decided to do math on cam. And then this brings us up to almost 90%. So once we get like a slate, we're pretty much going to be good to go, or we just need to like roll this value up towards like 14 and we'll be pretty much covered as well. And this is pretty much just the gear we're looking for right now. I'm not still 100% positive about like aim on here or like sealed mana compensation. This might end up being explode or something. I think explode could be really fun with this league mechanic. We're going to be taking compensatory life. This just gives us percentage mana, gives us spell damage, which does turn into attack damage thanks to our hero trait. And then we're going to have level 30 spell amplification when we're at low life. This just gives us multiplicative spell damage while we're at low life, which is pretty nice. Now for amulet, there's kind of two options here. There's the good old Mercurial Torment, which gives us flat mana, and this is pretty good. Or we could potentially go with the Illusory Ocean Silk Chili. And this has a little bit of mana, a little bit of life, a little bit of cold damage, a little bit of focus blessings. It applies a curse on hit, and it converts erosion damage. This could potentially be okay. I don't really think that this is going to win. Phantom is also a really good deck as well. It is very expensive, and weapon amplification phantoms are like 9,000 FE right now, so not really something I can do. We're going to be using this shield here, the Glacial Caster Shield. We're going to be consuming mana for now, which means that pretty much we're trying to burn as much mana as possible to get this huge flat damage. We have some sealed mana comp on here. The regeneration mana doesn't matter at all. All my gliders are popping off apparently. But the regeneration mana, like we can't regenerate mana at all. So this stat never matters. Don't worry about that. So for gloves, we might switch over to a Tyrant's Iron Fist. I actually bought a pair of these pretty cheaply. I guess they just felt like they failed the corrode. We have, you know, critical strike chance and damage that comes from consuming mana, which seems pretty okay. We're going to need to get the mana way, way, way high in order to consume a lot though. We're going to get a hero memory, and this is big lucky RNG here. We got some crit damage and then tier 0 mana on the like third roll of this one. It was like minion damage, max mana. So this is like very, very lucky. I went with immune to blind here with attack speed, mostly because I think blinding might be a problem in endgame. And also just like there wasn't really a lot of good options with tier 1 attack speed. I'm not really sure that they're like the fixed affixes. There's very many things that are good for us besides hero trait level. I think hero trait level is number 1 by a large margin, but those are like very expensive endgame type of items. And then picked up a whole bunch of these micro and medium fates. I want to say micro and macro fates, but yeah, these are going to give us a lot of mana as well, a lot of percentage mana. And then we picked up a pedigree of gods here, and it's going to give us gravity and then mana. So we can take mana and also take this main talent, mind focus, which changes our focus blessings to add physical damage. So we don't necessarily need to stack focus blessings all that much if we're not going to use Israel's Laws. I think Israel's Laws are still really, really good. It might even outpower Tyrant's Iron Grip here, especially until we have a lot more mana. But this is kind of like the plan for now, is to do that combination. You could also potentially, if you're going to do stacking this way, you could potentially do a slate that has just like mind focus or mana on it. It doesn't really matter which one. This one has Frozen Lotus, which might make it difficult for me to actually do a consume build with this. So this might be more of a non-consume style build. There's really a lot of different main talents that we can use in this build for damage. Really, you might just want to like go through and like look at all of them. There's a ton of them, and just kind of write them down. The crazy thing for this season is that previously you were kind of limited on what your pedigree could be. It could only be like 1 from the first talent and 1 from the second talent. And now it can just be anything. It all mixed together. Really, really wild. You can get some absolutely crazy pedigrees. And especially with like the mana one, like mana seems to be considered to be a lot weaker than all of the other main talents for the most part. So I guess people don't know about mana stacking yet, so they're underpricing it gloriously, which is really nice for us. I think I got both of these pedigrees for 200 FE combined. So pretty nice day for me. Hopefully this video helped you out a little bit with kind of the preview where to go. If you don't want to mana stack just yet, you want to keep following down the path, what I would recommend doing is like probably getting 2 priceless weapons, maybe going and getting some priceless rings, because like every single priceless piece of gear that you get just gets those huge ultimate affixes. So here, for example, on rings, you potentially get focus blessing, which would be a lot of damage, especially from our gloves. Elemental penetration, a lot of damage. Armor damage mitigation is pretty good as well. Going down here, you could even get like maybe fervor effect or double damage. I don't really think that the additional damage from main hand weapons is all that good, unless we're using the joint forces support thing. But yeah, this is like very, very powerful. And then if you have a priceless ring, I think it's a lot more reasonable to invest in rolling for a curse on it. And with the dream talking down here, with the dream interpretation, you can very rarely get yourself a, I think confusing dream. Yeah, one of these curses here. And the problem is that like we kind of just need to hit timid, and yeah, we kind of just need to hit timid down here. And so this is pretty hard to do, but yeah, that's kind of the future plan there. Let me know if this video helped you out. Come by the stream and come hang out. We're going to be leveling up here to 96. So I've got like all my defense pets and survivability stuff on, ready to go. One thing I want to note is I was able to push up a little bit higher on the dragon by dropping some of my defense pets on and putting like a Hell Cavalry buddy on as well. This guy is just like a really strong pet, even if he's not a legendary. A lot of times like high level purple pets really beat out orange pets. You kind of just need to like look at what the effect is up here. If you compare the two, just can be a lot better. So if you're despairing about not having legendary pets, keep an eye on your purple pets. Hope you guys have a good one. See you again soon. Later.